Hey everyone, it's Jan from RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 6. I am so excited to be doing this for you all today. I'm gonna be doing my blue jean baby look because it is one of my favorite looks that I've ever worn down the runway. So I'm gonna show you how I went from this to this. Hi. Mwah. All right, everyone, so this is the prep before we even get into drag, and that is a whole process. I need to get out of boy drag to get into my woman drag. We have to get rid of all of these eyebrows that I've literally tattooed on for all of y'all, and we're gonna get out of it so that she can become the doll. Well, look at that. That's the transformation. I'm gonna show you how I went from this to this. Now that the makeup is off, we have the most important part, which is putting on my Jandana. And the first thing that we do is prime. So now once we've done that, it is time to get rid of any of the 5 o'clock shadow that might appear if we're putting on makeup and we're gonna be in it for a long time. And on RuPaul's Drag Race, you're in drag all day, baby. So we gotta make sure that the camera's not getting any of your 5 o'clock shadow. So everyone, now that my face is prepped and ready to go, we are going to dive into the foundation process. The first thing that we do is we put a full coverage foundation, and I'm talking like a full coverage foundation all over my face. So let's get into it. And then we just blend all of this out. So now that my base is laid down, I'm gonna go in with a white on my highlight areas, which is right underneath my eyes. Basically, I know that some other performers will take the white and they'll drag it all the way out. My face shape does not hold that well. And so I've learned that I'm just gonna keep it in this front section and make my face look nice and dainty and small. And then what we're gonna do is with the other sponge that we used for our base, we're gonna go in and just tighten up the edges over here. See that? Mama, that's blending. And honey, she's looking gorgeous already. So now that the highlight is laid down, we are going to go into the contouring process with our cream foundations. I'm gonna take my darkest color and I'm going to put that on the perimeter of my face. So on my forehead, and kind of just eliminate and minimize some of my bigger features because I want to make my face look even smaller than it is. And one thing I've been doing lately, which has been, what is this hair? Hello? What the hell? Oh, it's purple. Mama, she's a purple queen. Then we take the chin and we kind of go underneath there. So once this is blended out, I'm gonna take the side of my base foundation sponge and blend everything out. So now you're looking at me and you're going, Jan, this is looking good. And you could stop here, but I'm gonna take it a couple steps. Oh my God. This entire time I've had something in my teeth! Ah, how embarrassing! Oh, let me get like f***ing floss or something. I'm so embarrassed. Like I was saying, you're probably looking at me going, Jan, you could leave this here. It looks good, ready to go. But I want to enforce that cheekbone even more. So I'm going to take a shade that's between my white and between my base and kind of carve that cheek out. So all we're going to do is just go right underneath there, doll. Boom. Bam. And we're gonna take the foundation base sponge and just kind of blend that out in between the cheek and the jaw. Okay, so the last step of this foundation process is to carve out the nose. We're gonna use a lovely little brush, just like a flat brush, and we're gonna just go right down the nose. I go right in between the bone. So how my bone is laid, I have to go on top of it, like kind of in the bridge, and then kind of on the side. And that marries it. Because sometimes if you go too much on the side over here, you will actually accentuate your nose when you're actually trying to minimize it. And hey, if you're trying to make it look bigger, gorge, do your thing. But that's not what I'm trying to do today. Once we have that there, I'm going to cover up the bottom part of this nose just to make it look even smaller. So I'm an Italian woman, we gotta change this. I am going to now use my finger, yes, my finger, so make sure your hands are clean. I'm gonna use my finger to blend this out because actually, these are a really good natural tool and you have so much control over your finger. Like, mama, look at that. Blended in seconds. Lovely, gal. Look at the difference. It's amazing. Last step, and this is so important. As you can probably see right now, I have a little bit of creasing going on with my highlight. Every time before I get into the full Gigorama and really powder this down and set it, because this is it, I make sure I take a little bit of that white, I go right under the eyes, and then I take that sponge and I just get it in all of the nooks and crannies so that it's looking as fresh as possible. Okay, I'm gonna take a translucent powder and we are going to set all of this. I take a white powder and I put that in the areas that I put my highlight. And this is going to bake into the skin, but it's also going to use as a protectant for our skin when we're doing our eyeshadow. And then I just take the translucent powder puff and I just blend out those edges. Alrighty everyone, so foundation, base powder, all of that is done and we are now ready to move on to the eyes. So let's get into it. The way that I start my whole eye process is I do my eyebrows first. So I am going to use a powder to get the overall shape and then I'm gonna go back in a second to do my little hairs to make it look a little bit more realistic, but it's drag, so. Not necessarily trying to be realistic right now with what I'm doing. I'm gonna start from the inner corner right here. I'm gonna go up to about right here. And that's gonna be kind of where I start. So once I get to about where my eye is starting to end, like kind of in that outer third, I stop and I use this again to go and do the top. And I kind of follow that same direction. Now we're going to kind of ombre that out. We're gonna use a darker color for this outer part of the eyebrow. And when I get to this area, this is when I start to curve it over so we get that arched brow look. Bam! We'll take it back in and we're just gonna connect the bottom to the top. And then we're just gonna fill that in with the darker powder in the back. And then when we move our way to the front, we're gonna use a different brush to just fill her in. It's a good brow today, Jan. So proud of you, queen. constantly raising the bar for us all. So now we're just gonna take the same color that we used for the front part. We're gonna use a little packing brush and we're just going to fill her in. As you can see, I kind of extend that just a little bit, and that kind of gives it more of a natural feel. So obviously we're looking at this brow, it's gorgeous and stunning, but we're gonna make her even more snatched than she already is. And the way we're gonna do that is we're going to take the cream highlight, the white highlight that is right under here, and we're going to get a tiny little flat brush and we're just gonna carve it out. This is how you take the brow from, oh, brow to, oh, wow. So now that we've cleaned that up with cream, we need to set it. So all we're gonna do is take a small little fluffy brush. We're gonna dip it into the white powder that we have under here, and we're just going to set it and then forget it. Now we're going to go in and we're gonna make little hairs. I use 3 different colors, and that's just because I try to ombre out my brow because we want to bring the lighter portions to the front and then have the darker portions towards the back. I always start kind of at the front and I just do little baby strokes. Then I kind of take a darker color and I use that in the middle. And I take that to about where it starts to curve. I take the darkest color and I fill out the rest. All right, everyone, so now that the brows are done and they are as symmetrical as I can get them myself, we are going to move on to the eyeshadow, and that's gonna take our face from 0 to 60 in 3.5. I am going to be taking a fluffy brush. Fluffy brushes only, mama. It makes everything so smooth. You can blend so much easier. Invest in fluffy brushes. It will change your makeup completely. So we're gonna dip into a light blue color, and I'm gonna start out at the front of my eye, close to my nose, and in slight swirly motions, just pack that on. Pigment mama. And I kind of do this up and around my crease because this is our lightest shade, and we're gonna use this shade to eventually blend into our brow highlight, which is basically just a white powder. And then I go right underneath. Make sure, y'all, that you have something laid down underneath. There's a little bit of blue that has fallen out, which is totally natural. That happens with so many eyeshadows, but make sure you have something to catch it, especially with blues, blacks, any darker color. It will seep in and it will mess up your foundation. Anytime that it's even like here, I brush it away so that it has no chance of making it to my skin. And then I just take my powder puff and I just reapply that white. So we're gonna take a little bit more of like a darker, kind of like a navy blue, and we're gonna put that right on our crease to just give us some more dimension. And again, using a fluffy brush, okay? We're gonna tap it off, and then we're just gonna build her up. Buttercup right over here. And see how that's blending so beautifully with that fluffy brush? Oh my God, absolutely incredible. Then again, just right underneath. Try not to get it in your eye like I just did. Oop, did it again. Okay, so now that we have those 2 shades in, we are going to go in with just the tiniest bit of black. And that is just to give us a little bit more of that smoky eye feel. So we're gonna take another fluffy brush. This is the 3rd fluffy brush, and then we're going to use it on the outer corner right over here. We're gonna take that 2nd fluffy brush, the one that we used that navy blue for. We're gonna pick up a little bit of that navy blue on the brush, and then we're gonna go over the edges of the black and blend it up and out. Okay, so then I'm going to take a very small brush, and this one's not fluffy, but I am gonna take this very small brush and I'm just gonna take a little bit of black and I'm gonna put it on my waterline. So let's get into it. So now that we are all blended out in terms of the blue, we're gonna just add some highlight under the brow. So we're just gonna take a super pigmented white and we're just gonna go right underneath there, doll. Look at that, absolutely stunning. So what we're gonna do is, again, the same brush that we used to carve out our brows, we're gonna use that same brush, that same highlight color, and carve out our crease. So we're gonna start a little bit just outside of our inner corner. Kind of stop over here because we're gonna just fill this up with some pigment anyways. So don't need to bother completing the whole thing. Doesn't really matter. So we're gonna take this brush again. We're just gonna tap that with translucent powder. We don't want the creams to interfere. And now once that's down, we're going to start creating a little ombre going inward. So we're going to pick up some of that black on that brush. We're gonna tap the excess away and just very lightly start filling in that area. Now we take the navy, do the same thing, but just a little bit more inward. And then lastly, that brighter blue right over here in the center. How pretty is that? Because we left this area open and we didn't cover that, we're gonna cover it with white. It really makes it pop and brightens it up. I'm going to take a black eyeliner and I'm gonna kind of create just a little wing and gonna go up. I start out by going upwards towards the end of my brow. And I stop that line kind of parallel to where my brow starts. Then we're going to go the opposite way. We're gonna take it from the top and ultimately we're gonna make it drop. And I take it to about halfway. From there, I will fill it in. While it's still drying, I'll take that black eyeshadow and I'll just tap to really, really accentuate that black. So then now we're gonna take an even smaller felt tip liner and we're going to do the inside portion. Now we're gonna go in and we are going to accentuate all of the cream highlighting, the cream contouring that we did before, and now we're just gonna do that with powder. But before we do that, we have to brush away all of the baking powder that we just put on our face. What I like to do is take a light brown shade and then I mix it very slightly with a darker brown. I like to start on the outside, so that's where the darkest should be, and then I work my way in. Wow, and this is where everything starts to come together. And then we're gonna work our way down to the cheek. We're just gonna go right by the temple and then just graze that cheek. You can give a little. And I do make a double chin to see where I have to cover, so. Flattering. That is the vulnerability the judges are looking for. All right, now we're gonna take the same exact brush. We're going to go in with a bronzer and we're going to go right underneath where we just put that forehead contour and then right above where we put our cheek contour. Now what we're gonna do is contour the nose. And this is gonna be very subtle, but it does do the trick, I find. See, it's subtle, but it's there, and that's what we want. Oh, it's beautiful. Don't even need to get surgery now. All right, so that's all set for the contour. Now we are going to add blush. I am an orange blush girl, not really a pink blush moment for me. I find that the orange just works well with my skin tone. And so I'm just going to tap into this little fluffy brush and then just do a little smile and then just kind of, woo! Just tap her in, brush her back and forth, and it just adds some life back to you, mama. Oh, I'm so pretty. I'm a doll. And then I take a little bit and I go on my forehead, just a little bit. Let's do some on her nose, why not? Oh my God, we're so dangerous and scandalous. Okay, so now that we've blushed, we're gonna do my favorite and I think the most transformational part of this process, which is using highlight powder. And I don't mean like a pheromone strobe highlight, I mean like the highlight to make everything look face-tuned, flawless finish under our eyes, on our forehead, and just give the face that smooth filter, okay? We're gonna take a like vanilla and a kind of peach toned highlight powder, swirl them around on a flat brush like this, and then just go in on your highlight areas. I didn't even find out about this product until our press week. Nikki Doll was like, honey, you need a little bit of powder. And I was like, thanks, girl. And she showed me this. And it's never been the same. My makeup has changed since season 12. I definitely owe a lot of it to Nikki Doll. She was always like, Jan, you're very pretty, but you know, let's try some new things because it's makeup and let's have some fun. I think the one thing that is funny about my makeup is that on season 12, I was really trying to not use too much makeup because I wanted to look more feminine. And I'm finding that the more makeup that I use, the more products that I use, the bigger that I go, the more feminine I actually look. And granted, that's just how my face works. I don't know if that's gonna be the same for everybody else, but this is my makeup tutorial. We're going to go on the nose. It's a little on the nose for me. And use that same highlight combination. And then we're gonna go on the sides and make that nose even more snatched than she already presently is. So we're gonna let that sit and bake, and now we're going to move on to lips. The first thing that we're gonna do is line the lips, and we're really not gonna line them, we're gonna overdraw them, okay? They start over here, and I like to do like a Cupid's bow, a heart-shaped. I like to do that. And when I get to the middle of my nostril, basically, it's a good reference point, I'll start to curve it down. Some people have bigger lips, smaller lips. You're just gonna have to find out what works for you. But for me, decently small lips, because my filler faded. Ah! As a little reference, we're gonna go from the middle down just to like right there. And then and then we just take it from the inside and we go towards the outside. And that'll bring me from the skin to the lip, and then from there I kind of just draw alongside of the lip. Gorgeous. So now once that's all shaped out, we're gonna fill it in. Okay, so once it's basically filled in, we are going to take a liquid lip, like a beige color, and we're just gonna fill in the lip. Not all the way down to the ends of the liner, but kind of in the middle of it. And then, as it's drying, we're gonna blend it. Okay, so now that this is dry, we're gonna go in with just like a classic lipstick. It's gonna be creamy, it's gonna make our lips look a little more lifelike, and we are going to put that over top of our lips in the same places that we put this liquid lip. And then again, just taking that brush and blending it out. So this next step and the last step of the lip is gonna be controversial for some drag artists because I am someone who loves to add a glossy lip. I love the feeling, I love the texture. I, for some reason, don't have a problem with it getting caught in my wig, but that's on me, mama, and that might not be the same case for you. But we're gonna top this off with some gloss, all right? So the lips are all done. They're looking plump and gorgeous. Mwah. Yes, you can never tell that I have actual small lips. Oh, gorge. So we are going to move on right now to the eyes. We're gonna go back there, do some finishing touches, and then we're basically done. So right now for my eyes, to open them up even more, I'm gonna put a white liquid liner right underneath the inner portion of my eye. Just like that, all you need right there. We're going to move on to mascara and just kind of coat the bottom and the top to get ready for our lashes. I just got a little bit of mascara on my face right here. When this happens, because this might happen to you, this could happen to any of us, don't scrub it, leave it, wait for it to dry, and then we're gonna take this end of our angled brow brush, and we are so lightly just going to basically flick this away. Gone. You just take that end and you, damn it, get it away. There we go. All right, so it's time to apply the fake lashes. I use a black adhesive. You can use whatever you have and whatever works. Kind of just coat that. And then we really just place it on. I don't use tweezers. And then honey, she's looking gorgeous. I'm gonna take it one step further. We're gonna put on lower lashes too. Gorgeous, and I noticed the difference. I think it's so much more feminizing. I think it's really pretty. So now that the eyelashes are all done, we are moving on to the very final step, which is the highlight, and that is the pheromone highlight, honey. Okay, so we're gonna do it here on our nose, and we're just gonna make ourselves sparkle. So I just pour a little bit out into the cap over here, just kind of like a boom boom bam. And then once that's in there, that's when I am going to spray my entire face with like a setting spray. So I take a small little fluffy brush, and then I just go, ooh, and glide it across. That's good enough for me. I take a bigger fluffy brush, and we're gonna go on the sides of the cheeks. So I start right here in the middle, and I kind of just tap it in and out, and then when I feel like the consistency is where it needs to be, that's when I'll start to brush it out. That's so pretty. Like, hello. Alrighty, y'all, my face is done, so I'm gonna go get into my look and I'll be right back. Alrighty, everyone, this is my finished blue jean baby look. I love this look so much. I'm so happy that I got to wear it down the runway. It's one of my favorites because all of these panels are hand-stitched by a very good friend of mine and an incredible designer, Christopher Palou. I love you so much, babe, and I love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you are following me on all social media handles. I have Instagram at JanJanJan, Twitter at JanSportNYC, and TikTok as JanSportNYC12 because I'm a Gemini mama and we don't have linear handles, okay? Alrighty, everyone, thank you so much and I hope to see you soon. Mwah.
Do you want everything RuPaul's Drag Race at your fingertips? Then head over to YouTube now and subscribe to the RuPaul's Drag Race channel, and you will get all the episodes of everything you ever want, including brand new episodes of What You Packin'. Hi.